Welcome back, dear listeners. This isn't plugged in. I don't know why I even thought that'd be a good bit. So, this was the second episode of Don't Mind If I Don't, and we did it on a filmmaker that all the people in my life seem to love, and I just, no matter what I try, just can't quite get into with David Lynch. Two of our guests this episode, we had Sean Perotta, who's just a wonderful guy, and one of my favorite stand-up comics and people, even though he drives me crazy to no end, Andrew Durso. Andrew Durso and I have been friends for quite a while now, and we disagree on almost everything, and yet, just can't help but love this little guy. He's an average height. I don't know why I called him little. I guess just to be condescending. Anyway, enjoy David Lynch and me not enjoying David Lynch.
Welcome to Don't Mind If I Don't. My name is Aaron Gold. I am your intrepid host and low-stakes masochist. As you heard in our theme song, every episode is another thing that I either don't care about or just straight up hate. Everything gets rated on a scale of 1 being my personal ambivalence to a 10, which is blood-curdling hatred. And today, we are doing David Lynch. Before we go any further, if words wanted to make sense, I'd like to introduce our guests. First of all, producer of long-running variety show No Feelings Presents and David Lynch superfan, Sean Perotta.
Hi, Aaron.
Did I pronounce is it Perotta?
Perotta, yeah.
Perotta?
People say Perotta. It's not Perotta.
It's not.
No, that makes me angry.
They're fucking wrong.
They're idiots, and I hate them.
I do too.
Good.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
And I'd also like to introduce stand-up comic, one of my favorite stand-up comics, actually, and a friend of mine for going on a decade. Mm-hmm. Also, David Lynch aficionado, Andrew Durso is here.
Hi, Radioland. What's going on?
Hey, Durst dog.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm good.
And that was a good lie you told about us being friends for a decade.
Almost a decade.
Right, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's been almost a decade.
It's been about a decade.
Fucking SUNY Binghamton in upstate New York.
What?
What a nuclear wasteland.
What a just the grayest place on earth.
It's truly awful. Yeah. It's one of those places that like the IBM factory shut down, and like it's just a bunch of like aimless townies with clam chowder stains on their goatees.
Speaking of aimless townies with clam chowder stains on their goatees, let's talk about David Lynch.
All right.
So, scale of 1 to 10. You guys told me to... I've seen the first few episodes of Twin Peaks, and you guys told me to watch Blue Velvet. Finished watching it last night, and I can safely say David Lynch right now clocks in at a solid 3.
A solid 3.
I don't care. It seems like stuff where it's like... I don't know. It just seems like art school filmmaking bullshit. Like,
sure.
Look, I can do these intense close-ups and very discomforting sounds for no reason. It seems stuck up its own ass. And 2 minutes and 26 seconds into David Lynch, into Blue Velvet, I paused it just to write down the note, I'm not high enough for this.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
No, that's fair. You have to be a little festive for it. I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm curious about. Do you give him points for innovation? Or are you just not give a shit?
I mean, I don't know where this art school bullshit trend started.
Yeah.
And let me clarify that I don't hate it. I don't hate any of it. I just look at it and shrug and go, it's there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My thing is, he's the best
why do you
at
like it?
The thing, like, you're not wrong. You haven't said anything incorrect.
Right.
Good.
But he's the best at that. Nobody does that, like, art school nonsense camera angles, very, like, obvious close-ups and dichotomies and that stuff. Nobody does it better than he does.
Because it's shitty. It's bad filmmaking. It's boring. It's like
that's
being
just,
the best at tying your
that's
shoes.
just straight
Who
up
gives a
untrue.
fuck?
It's bad filmmaking.
99.
It's not bad
it's
filmmaking.
Very well made movie. Like,
It's not bad filmmaking, but I see a close-up like that and I think, why? Why do it? Just tell the fucking story.
There's some truth you're saying as to, like, you know, I saw Blue Velvet when I was very young. It's kind of considered like a rite of passage movie a little bit, where it's like you watch it, it kind of warps your brain a little bit, and you talk about it with your fellow insufferable 16-year-olds who drink coffee. Like, it is truly that kind of movie. And I was afraid. I revisited it for the podcast I hadn't seen in a long time, and I was kind of worried, like, oh, is this going to hold up? Is it going to be like Fight Club, like a movie I liked it when I was a teenager, and I think it's bullshit now. I watched it. I was like, there's nothing like it. Like, it's truly amazing. Like, it holds up, man.
The thing is, like, what you said about, like, don't do this, just tell the story. That's how he tells the story. That's the only way he
That
knows
has
how to tell
nothing
the
to do with a
story.
story except for just like, oh, you know what? The audience isn't tense enough right now. I'm just going to throw in this one shot and super weird close-up of bugs and make a weird sound that goes along with it. That'll up the tension. Or, as a good filmmaker might do, they just fucking put that in the scenes. And I'm saying
you don't
that
think that's
mostly
part
for
of
the
the scene?
hyperbole.
Sure.
I'm saying that I don't think that when the guy passed out on his lawn while watering, that there was any necessary, there was no need for that super close-up of those bugs.
Okay, here's why. Let me tell you. Because the whole... Sorry, I'm so excited.
No, please do.
The whole movie is
I
about...
want you to convince me I'm wrong.
The whole movie is about finding the darkness through this veneer, through this
It's the
1950s suburbia.
Then call it at 5 minutes in. They found the darkness immediately. It's right there.
But
He
now
found
you
I think
it
it
here.
goes a little deeper than that. I mean, like it is the archetypal like dark side behind the white picket fences movie. I will say this about David Lynch: like he's kind of like he's the brand of avant-garde filmmaking. Like he's the Beatles. Like it's like David Lynch is shorthand for weird shit's about to happen. But I do think that kind of neglects that. Like if you look at it in like under the right frame, I think Blue Velvet is like a super personal movie. I think there's like a lot of him in that.
Well, he
film.
said he grew up in Boise, Idaho, and he said like he and his friend or his brother once saw like a naked woman approach them and ask them for help. Like that moment toward the end, like with Isabella Rossellini, comes like right out of his
Kyle
life.
MacLachlan is straight up like
he's a David Lynch.
He's
stand-in.
definitely the David Lynch archetype. Like I mean that was obvious to me. And
Yeah,
like,
certainly.
look, here's a young 20-something white boy experiencing this darkness for the first time. I bet that's the allegory for David Lynch.
Yes.
And I will say this. Kyle MacLachlan is the shit. And
He's
everything
amazing.
he does,
He's
he's
great.
a
Incredible.
phenomenal actor.
He's like perfectly
Yes.
cast in this movie.
Yeah,
the reason they're best buds.
Isabella Rossellini, they were both fantastic.
Yeah. David Lynch gets really good, really specific performances out of his actors. They're not like normal.
I
Which is,
wasn't
like,
blown away
interesting
by the
because-
acting, really by anyone, but they were very good.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like everybody who's worked with him considers him like an actor's director, which you wouldn't think because like you'd
No,
imagine.
because his dialogue is
Definitely would
like
not
kind
think
of
that.
objectively terrible.
Yes.
The dialogue's bad because it's so weird because he's so like obsessed.
It's not
with
terrible
this
in the
weirdness.
sense that like it tells you a lot about who he is, but
Yeah,
it's terrible
no.
in the sense that just like it's weird and it doesn't make
It's
sense.
not
It just
things
feels a little
people
out of the
say.
movie.
It's
He's
not things
obsessed
people say.
with-
You know what? I
exactly.
think that's what sticks to me.
Sure.
I think that's a really great point. It's not things people say, and like I can only go so far with that when it comes to movie or TV dialogue, and even with improv scenes too. How if you are listening to this and you've ever seen an improv scene, how quickly were you turned off when someone walked onto the screen and was like, Jack, my brother, I haven't seen you in 20 years. What are you doing now visiting Dad while he's in the hospital? Like, nobody talks like
I think
that.
it really works in this movie, though. I think it really works because the idea is he's setting up this like very artificial, like standard of like an ideal 50s town, and then he like flips and reverses it.
He did that immediately, though. Like, he did that perfectly. I will say, for setting that up, he did that perfectly, especially in just, you can end it on that shot of the fire truck driving by with the guy kind of waving on it.
Yeah,
perfect,
unnatural.
great.
Very
You set that tone. I get it. Move on with your fucking story.
But
now.
that's the whole story. Like that's the thing. That veneer has to remain.
I will
That
say
archetype, that aesthetic.
I think there are like very suspenseful like aspects to this movie, but I'd say it doesn't work if you just think of it as a straight like suspense thriller. Like I think there are very effective aspects when it comes to that.
Okay, that's a very fair point. And we are talking full David Lynch, not just Blue Velvet.
Sure.
But I do gotta say the ending of Blue Velvet.
I love the ending to this movie.
It's incredible.
I love the
What?
It's so good.
You're out
What?
of your mind. I think like
Okay, no, the ending is standard. Okay, yeah, great. Spoilers if you haven't seen Blue Velvet.
See Blue Velvet. Come on. What are you doing? By now? Come on.
I guess.
fucking rite of passage.
Shut
All
up,
right.
Aaron. See Blue
Don't you want to be
Velvet.
a cool, insufferable 15-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh my God, both of you.
Be
Holy
the
shit.
worst.
The ending, it just like, okay, great. Frank, everything with Frank is resolved. Everything with the main character is resolved. The female lead loves him for some reason.
Laura
Shrug.
Dern's so good. Always so good.
Laura Dern's always amazing.
Yes.
The writing, but
Yeah.
So now they're just back to the idyllic 50s lifestyle,
yes.
like nothing ever
But,
happened.
But then the Robin eats the beetle.
If you
the beetle.
the very last shot of that movie,
Yeah.
where it's like it's so great, like Isabella Rossellini just like gives that look to the camera,
Yep.
like she's fucking damaged forever because of what she went through, and like it's terrible to think about, Matt, but like what the fuck, like imagine what happened to her kid. and like they don't even talk about
Right,
it.
like,
The
she's,
shit
like-
he probably went
she
through
and her
that
kid,
they
like,
have,
hug.
that they
It's
together
not-
have to deal with for the rest of their life. I love the final shot of that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's so effective.
That's a fair point. May I make a counterpoint?
Sure.
Okay, oh my God, I have so many, it's like such aggressive ambivalence that I'm feeling right now. I can't just hard enough at it.
The thing about the thing about
Yes,
Lynch,
it's well done, but why?
I feel like you're
Congratulations, you
Why-
made
why-
a
that's an
fountain that shoots out Jello. Why would you spend your time on
That's a goofy
that?
fucking question. Ask why.
That's
He's trying
fair,
to express
fair.
the same reason any filmmaker makes anything, to fucking express
Fair.
himself or to tell his story. Why does anybody make anything?
Fair.
I don't know. I think it's important. Like, David Lynch wanted to be a painter, and he is a painter. He paints.
Don't
weird,
you dare
awful.
stop that metaphor right the fuck now.
I'm not making a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
There's no metaphor.
I thought you were about to say, like, he paints a world with his actors.
I was absolutely not going to say that.
All right,
no,
good.
he wanted to be a painter. So, like, and that's sort of the way he sees film. Like, he's not really in it to tell a story the way other filmmakers are.
Really?
He's in it to sort of, like, just paint this thing. Like, he sees that there's two worlds to this suburban archetypal.
His films are like hardcore, like fucking like capital M mood pieces.
They're overt. They're so overt.
They're
And
not subtle.
I feel like you're looking for subtlety, which is so fair because we think that a good filmmaker is subtle, aside from like Scorsese and Tarantino.
I think a good filmmaker trusts their audience to get it.
I think
And I don't
David
think
Lynch
that David Lynch
absolutely
gives you
does that.
I don't feel like he gave me that room.
You realize you're saying that like this movie hits you over the head when it's the most like arcane fucking not even like compared to his other stuff. It's decipherable.
I'm not, but it's fresh. It's fresh on me right now. Sean,
Yeah.
why don't you explain your shirt?
So I'm wearing a very poorly screen printed shirt with a eraser head on it, and I found my dad screen printed this shirt in like 1992, and I found it when I was 14 years old, which was way too young to find this shirt. And I watched Eraserhead when I was 14 years old, which is way too young to watch Eraserhead. I had a lot of nightmares. It really upset me. But it was sort of the moment that like my young 14-year-old mind was like, whatever this was, I want more of it. Like whatever this David Lynch guy is, like I want to see what else there is.
Can you explain the plot of Eraserhead to me?
No.
Oh god, a guy.
I sure can.
In one word, a guy gets a baby and he does not have a good time with it, my
No.
friend. It's weird. Like I do find his movies like kind of hit people in strange ways. Sometimes people you wouldn't expect. Like my mom is a very like tame New England mom, and fucking inexplicably her favorite movie is Mulholland Drive.
That
which
doesn't make any sense.
Which, if you haven't seen, is like a lucid sexual nightmare throughout the seedy underbelly of Los Angeles.
I've been told I need to see that movie.
I really wonder if you'd like Mulholland Drive more or less.
It was between Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet.
Sure.
I'd already wanted to see Mulholland Drive. I know nothing about it. I just heard
I don't
that
think
it really
it's a great
messes with your
starting
head.
point. It's very nonlinear.
I
Mulholland Drive.
hear that it messes with your head in a really interesting way, and then the ending changes the movie.
Yeah. It's
That
a lot,
I dig that stuff. I dig psychological stuff.
it's a
like
lot
that.
more rewarding if you've seen other Lynch pieces because it's sort of like it's what works in Lost Highway and Wild at Heart, but like better.
It's a
Like,
movie
where
that
he
like
gets
you
it.
got to give it a bit of the benefit of the doubt as you're going into it because it's like if you just put it together as like one linear piece, it doesn't really make sense.
Imagine those weird like sequences with Dennis Hopper from Blue Velvet, like a whole movie that has that aesthetic.
What did you think
Hopper
of
was Frank, right?
Yeah, what did you
Frank.
think of Dennis Hopper in this movie?
I think that character would have been so much better with better dialogue.
Sure.
Man.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that one line. Say that line that you have memorized.
Fuck, what was it? Oh yeah, it's you get a love letter from me, you're fucked. What's a love letter from me? A bullet from a fucking gun. That's the best. I love every fucking
It's
line he has in
incredible.
this movie.
No, it is not.
It's so great.
That line, I was just like, oh, that moment could have been so good with like slight tweaks to that dialogue. I mean, it's just. I'm playing coked up gangbanger the whole movie.
Sure, but again, it's the it's a movie of archetypes. It's a
Yeah.
movie. The whole movie is a movie of archetypes because it's the
Dennis Hopper's
it's
job in this
world.
movie is to be like the most evil fuck ever
Yeah.
portrayed on screen, essentially.
All right.
Almost over the
It's
top.
just for Kyle MacLachlan to experience the darkness underneath this
Right, because
suburban 50s
like Kyle
aesthetic.
MacLachlan and Dennis Hopper in this movie, there's meant to be like polar opposites.
Yeah.
That whole like, oh, you and me were not so different. That whole fucking jump.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's super effective.
And he does wonder that.
There's
though.
like
McLaughlin does look into himself.
Like it's an iconic performance, and like rightfully so. I think there's like no character that reaches the heights that Dennis Hopper does in this movie. I can think of.
Think of a couple, but
that line that Laura the blonde. What I just said her name earlier.
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. I'm sorry, Jesus. The line she says to Kyle MacLachlan, like, "I don't know if you're a detective or a pervert," is like exactly what this movie is. It's exactly that dichotomy. Like it's exactly an exploration of that.
A great question to pose at his character.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know. Let's talk Twin Peaks.
Sure.
I saw the first couple episodes. I've seen the dream sequence scene.
Sure.
Y'all are gonna have to help me out because it's been a fucking while.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Twin Peaks, but I remember watching it and going like, "Oh boy, I'm excited for Twin Peaks." Everybody talks about how great it is, and then getting a few episodes in, going like, "Well, this didn't grab me," and I'm bored.
Damn it, Aaron.
What?
Sorry.
What?
How does it not grab you? How did those characters not grab you? How does that world? How do you not get immersed in that world?
Because it keeps on painting
immediately?
this kind of world with these real stakes.
Sure.
And then all the characters are such caricatures that it kind of just like makes me not believe those stakes anymore.
You think his style of filmmaking like undercuts any real oomph that the show could have?
Yeah. You know what? That's a great way of putting it. That's how I feel. I feel like I could have been intrigued by this story.
Sure.
The filmmaking of it, the cinematography of it gets so up its own ass, it kind of blocks my path to the story.
It's very funny you say that because like I think we were talking about this a little before we started recording. We're going back to Blue Velvet very briefly. There's a infamous Roger Ebert interview of Blue Velvet.
My God. Oh my God.
Infamous, where he has almost a very similar complaint to yours.
He hates it so much.
It's a really interesting
Great,
review.
I'm Roger Ebert. That's
I'll
take that as a win.
You're Roger.
You can't take it
You're
back.
Roger Ebert. The one time Roger Ebert was wrong.
It's a really interesting review though, because like in the review he's like almost hyperbolic about praising it at some points. At like one point he's like describing the sequence where like Kyle MacLachlan's hiding in the closet and watching Isabel Rossellini.
What amazing cinematography in that sequence.
He says Hitchcock would be proud. He's hyperbolic at praising
He's
the movie
not. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's so right.
Hitchcock would be proud is like the biggest fucking like compliment a film critic can give a director ever.
True.
But he's angry. He seems viscerally upset by the movie because he thought like the shit where they do that and then the next scene is like they're tooling around in like the hardware store and they're goofing like, hey, how many fingers am I holding up to the blind guy? He thought that was like, he found it condescending. He thought it undercutted all the real drama.
See, I honestly wanted to just scrap the whole movie and follow that blind guy. I wanted to know his story. Because that was awesome. That how many fingers am I holding up? 4. How do you do that?
Sure.
Oh, well, fuck that. Answer that question. How did he do that?
So
I would watch an entire 2-hour movie about how he did that.
So you're actually the exact opposite of Roger Ebert. It's like all this suspense stuff is fucking stupid.
Roger Ebert,
that blind guy.
He was especially upset about Isabella Rossellini.
I absolutely want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Isabella Rossellini, like
not
the
a very
emotional
pro-woman movie.
Yeah, the emotional work that she puts into this movie.
By 2016 standards, it's not the most woke movie, so to speak, but I would actually like to talk about that.
She's complex though, and Isabella Rossellini puts in such a performance.
Well, I want to
say like in his review, he says that like one of the things that upset him about the movie is he felt like Isabella Rossellini is asked to do things in this movie that's just not right to ask an actress.
Well, no, that's not it. That's not it. His issue is that the things she does, that the movie doesn't earn it. That the movie doesn't deserve.
He feels like she's being exploited.
Yeah, but he loves Last Tango in Paris. Like he talks about that, which is, oh my God.
Well, I think that means Roger Ebert is like a very empathetic film critic, and that's what makes him so great. Like
absolutely.
That's what he has that a lot of film critics don't. So like I think I don't hate him bringing that up as a conversation piece.
No,
but
certainly
I think
not.
like part of that is like I think it's if we want to talk about it from like a fucking feminist angle, even though we're 3 dudes, I think like it is important to mention that why is it when like a guy gives a very method performance, it's seen as brave, but when a woman gives a very method performance, she's a victim. Like I think that's a ridiculous complaint.
I think a lot of the times that comes down to the writing. I mean, like I didn't see it, but like Charlize Theron in Monster.
Sure,
right.
Everybody that's. I just don't think there are a lot of roles given to women to do that kind of thing. That is the way that roles like that are given to men.
I mean, you can either look at Isabel Rossellini in this movie as like a victim of David Lynch or a fucking collaborator with David Lynch. I just see her as a collaborator. She's a fucking smart woman. She knows what she's just a fantastic actress. She gives an amazing performance in this movie.
I think I have too much of a penis to weigh in on that or know what it is to be a woman doing that scene.
I just
I'm
want
not-
to talk about that because it is a big bullet
Yeah.
point when people talk about like Blue Velvet today in 2016.
It made me, I don't know. It's
uncomfortable.
It's
Yes.
uncomfortable, but like not just in a filmmaking standard, like the fact that like that's what they had to do to tell the story, and just illustrate just how bad of a guy Frank was. I don't know. But I want to be convinced that I'm wrong here. I want to be convinced that I mean, okay, I see David Lynch's work. I get it.
Sure.
I get, it kind of scratches that artistic itch.
Absolutely.
It's more than a movie. It's an experience,
Right.
Yes.
To steal from IMAX. But
Yeah, you saw it in 3D, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch it again if you didn't see it in 3D.
Oh, I saw it in 4DX. Man, the way
Blu-ray.
the water splashes on you in
Yeah.
just the right moments, so perfect. The way that they actually, every time that song comes up, you actually feel Blue Velvet.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's not even part of the chair. Just like an intern comes up and rubs it against your face.
Yeah. I met him, Frank. He's a great guy. Ironically.
Like Ruth?
I don't know. It just
Some
it's
people
just, I'm
ask
just
why are there people like Frank? Why can't there be more people like Frank? Is what I asked. To paraphrase
Sure.
the famous quote, he seems like a fun guy. Loves his Pabst.
Here's the thing.
Pabst Blue
also,
Ribbon.
who the fuck loves Heineken that much?
A
Fuck
fucking
you.
dork like
Fuck
Kyle
you.
MacLachlan.
No,
That's the perfect beer.
He's
for him
home
to
from
like.
college. He's home from college.
That's the perfect beer.
He's
for
a
Kyle
college
MacLachlan.
drinking Heineken. This makes sense to me.
That,
this
all right,
reads
fair.
to me.
That one point, fair.
We convinced you. We did it.
God.
That's right.
I just feel like if you're going to want an artistic journey like that and not get necessarily you're in it for the story, go see Sleep No More. Do something fun like that.
Okay, but now here's my question. So you're Twin Peaks.
Everybody listening in Idaho, go see Sleep No More. Ugh.
Twin Peaks does tell a story in a different way than Blue Velvet, in your mind, sort of like fails to tell a story in a conventional way. Twin Peaks is a story. It's a murder, and it's about how this town responds to a murder. But
No.
that didn't grab you. Okay.
No, it is not.
Okay.
It is a story about a weird fucking FBI guy.
The best weird fucking FBI guy.
Because, like, I mean, here's the thing. Again, love Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
Can't knock it
He's
there.
pitch perfect in that
But,
role.
fucking, like, I remember the moment that it lost me. Him in the woods deciding how I'm going to investigate this by throwing shit at bottles.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It works. That's
In what way? In what way?
They get a lead from that. They get a lead
Fuck
from that.
you! Solve a goddamn mystery!
He is.
Be a detective!
He is.
Be an FBI agent! Jesus!
Here's the thing.
Oh, this thing just happened to work. Thank you, ancient spirits. Fuck you! Tell me this murder mystery.
They're gonna.
They didn't earn that.
Yes, they did.
How?
They did.
How is that earned?
Because it's his character, because he's an idiosyncratic, Buddhist, weird FBI agent. He is everything this town is not. It's painting Twin Peaks as this isolated, insulated community. The death of Laura Palmer destroys this community. Keep watching the show. Every single character is emotionally devastated by this, and this fucking weirdo comes in, this weird FBI agent, and he's the only one who can solve it, and he's like nothing they've ever seen before. And that's so important to this show. This weird, bizarre presence in this small, tight-knit community. That's how I feel.
Shit.
I like to take a moment to advertise for Stamps.com. Listen, you can get $100 of free postage if you enter the promo code GOODPIE. You get
Good pie? Why is that our promo?
fucking Twin Peaks.
Twin
That's
Peaks.
why he
Oh,
always talk about
shit.
how much he loves pie.
Damn fine cup of coffee.
Listen, I am a firm believer in that you have to judge every film by the goals it sets out to achieve. I really believe
What?
that. What? How do you?
I think on some level, yes. I think you can
No,
do it simply
you
as
don't
a
get
film.
to judge a movie by how like aimed your shot was to how that shot actually hit. You judge a movie
by
like
how
you
it-
judge any.
No, by how it achieves those goals.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
That's
you
one
can
of the
take that
fucking
into
basic
consideration.
tenets of criticism.
You take that into consideration, but how it affects you. People didn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, a rom-com isn't going to affect you in
All right,
the same
if
way that a
that's
horror movie is
if
going
that's
to.
what it is, then you've got to reverse your stance and admit that Batman v Superman was a terrible movie.
That was fine.
Oh, get out. Am I allowed to agree with you on anything, Aaron?
Yes.
Are we? Fuck you,
Yeah, everyone
dude.
gives a shit about these superheroes too much. It was whatever. It was like 2.5 hours. Who gives a
It
fuck?
was
This
bad.
isn't Batman v Superman episode. I just wanted to point that out and make you lose any credibility.
Yeah, fine. Fill my
movie.
fucking inbox, nerds. I don't give a shit. Come at me. Fucking losers caring so much about a bunch of action figures.
Yeah, we do. You're right, we do.
What about the unnecessary close-ups and flashbacks in Blue Velvet? Of just not just Blue Velvet, his whole thing. I remember one shot of Blue Velvet. He flashes back to making love to Isabella Rossellini 2 minutes after that exact shot was shown. Why do that? We get that he's thinking about that. You can trust that the audience remembers 90 fucking seconds ago.
Because it's visceral. It's
Yeah,
more
it's-
visceral.
You wavered in your voice while you said that. You know that you're not behind that point.
I really did. No, you're right.
No, I don't
you're
get.
right.
Trust your goddamn audience to pick up what you're putting down.
See, I think you're watching like a typical like suspense thriller where you're just like, well, we fucking remember. It's not the point that you remember. It's not to recap a plot element.
It is. It's to experience it again. It's to just do it again. Again, he's not subtle.
I experienced an eye roll when that happened. That's what I experienced. I experienced me audibly doing this. Ugh.
I love the lack of salty. I think it's great that a director who's like he's arcane in some things, they lays it out on the fucking table in other aspects.
I think by that point you'd already
great.
turned on his lack of subtlety.
I wasn't turned.
very-
I really did. I tried
Okay.
to reserve any and all judgment until the end because I
Okay.
kept thinking maybe the ending will change it for me.
Did you like how the ending was like pulled off, like in the respects where he's like Dennis
That
Hopper's
depends on
hunting
where
through
you
Dennis
called
Hopper's hunting through the apartment, like looking for Kyle MacLachlan.
I
'cause
thought
think
that
that's
was
amazing.
his
scene.
best scene.
But,
Dennis
like,
Hopper's best scene.
And he just like he has these like little
Sure.
touches where it's like it's so small. I don't know how you thought of it, but I think it's so like. It's like inexplicable. That guy who's standing straight up and he has that chunk of his brain taken out.
Yeah.
How did
like,
that happen, by the way?
It
Did
goes
they ever explain?
unexplained. It goes unexplained.
All right.
But his walkie-talkie activates. He just like punches that lamp.
Yeah.
That's a great moment in like a traditional thriller. Like let alone like there are small touches like that.
Because this
which
movie
makes that
is like
move
half
narratively.
traditional thriller.
Yeah,
like,
that's
the idea.
That's
It's-
what I love about
it's
it.
noir
It's the meeting
and-
point between like kooky journey into hell bullshit and like just a
Exactly.
classic like gumshoe detective story.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the one thing about subtlety that I found in this movie was its humor.
Sure.
Yeah.
It felt like very gentle comedy.
Yeah.
And
It's I
gentle
think it's
comedy annoys the shit out of me. Like it's just like every single bit of quote unquote humor felt like everyone's stereotypical aunt touching your shoulder slightly, like, "Get it, sweetie." Like,
Because that's
fuck
what.
you, no.
Because that's 1950s. Because it's Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah,
Because it's
but I
this
remember seeing that
50s
shit in
veneer.
Twin Peaks also. Is that just his style? That's right.
Peaks-
I'm looking
no.
at Sean Brake right now. Don't lean away from the mic when you realize that your point is crumbling in front of you.
No, Twin Peaks is like is like kind of a companion piece to Blue Velvet though.
It's
Like they have very similar goals. Like they're deconstructing this like idyllic insulated town. Yeah.
That does go back to the point about Twin Peaks just sort of being its own world, sort of outside of the rest of the world. That,
Yeah.
like, this humor, this small town, not that funny, like not actually funny at all. Humor is like what they do.
They're very not subtle. Like I can't count the amount of times during Twin Peaks that like Laura Palmer's dad just goes like, oh
yeah.
oh man,
God.
yeah. Now everybody reacts a lot to things in David Lynch movies. Like I don't know, let's do some role play. Let's do some role play. You
All
want to
right,
do some
let's
role
do-
play?
yeah, let's
do
do
some
it.
fun role play. Okay, we're in a David Lynch movie. Okay. We're at like a fun chain restaurant, like a TGI Fridays.
Okay.
You're my server,
All right.
and I'm the customer, and I want a Sprite. You don't have any Sprite left. Okay, let's go.
All right. Let's
come up to my table.
Who is Sean going to be?
You're giving my dinner guest.
Okay, great.
All right,
so you
come
two
up to our table.
I know
Stop
how
right
to
now.
be a waiter.
Come up to our fucking
Durso.
You
table.
come to our table and you
I will.
ask us
I
what
will.
we want.
I will. I
You
know
have
how
a
to do
gates.
this.
You have
I
a
know-
pad.
I'm not being trained here. Okay, I've been at this restaurant. Hold on. Wait, no, that's a genuine emotion. Better stifle that for a David Lynch piece. Hold on. Okay. Hi there, sugars. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. I love this TGI Fridays.
Oh my God, the weather is so lovely, isn't it?
It's very nice.
Lovely.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Lovely.
You know what you got to try? You got to try our sizzling chicken with cheese and peppers.
Man, I'll
so
do
good.
that as long as I don't fill up on my bloomin' onion. I'll tell you that much. Ha
It's a delight.
That's
Just
so
a delight.
funny.
Yeah.
I got to tell all my friends that you just said that bloomin' onion thing.
100%.
Oh, that's so funny. So good. Cheryl. Cheryl.
ha. What are you fucking
gotta
talking?
hear
What are
this.
you talking to me for?
Oh, Cheryl. This is going to lift your day.
I'm listening to the new edition of Planet Money on NPR, you fuck.
All right, time out for a quick second. Durso, already that's way too interesting for a David Lynch movie.
Planet Money, I agree. It's a great podcast.
Turn that down.
Yeah, 100%.
Turn that down. Let's
Are
stay
you
in the
plugging
improv,
another
guys.
podcast
I'm
on
plugging
this
Planet Money.
podcast?
They
Their
don't
host
know
probably
me.
has a more nuanced view of David Lynch. Listen to Planet Money, everybody.
Wow.
If I was still holding this fake tray, I'd use it to bash your head in. But okay, let's get back into it. But seriously, stay in the piece, buddy.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, what can I get you, sugars?
Well, I guess we're just going to start out with drinks, right?
Yeah, I'll just
Drinks make sense. I love drinks. It's such a hot day.
just a Coca-Cola for me.
One Coca-Cola coming up.
Thank
And
you.
I think I'll have a Sprite.
You know what?
What?
Coca-Cola and Sprite. Oh, are those the same company? I got to check. We'll give you whatever the equivalent is.
Wait, do you not have Sprite?
I believe we want. I think we have Sprite.
Okay, can you check?
I'll go check. Give me 1 second.
All right. Our waitress is fucking hot.
Our waitress is fucking
Ours fucking smoking.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck her.
Yeah, absolutely. Right here in this TGI Fridays.
Right here in the
This is a
TGI
TGI Fridays or an Applebee's.
Yeah, it's a TGI Friday.
Okay, I think I see her coming back.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Here's your Sprite. Here's your Coca-Cola.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Nice.
Oh boy, you boys just look so handsome today.
Oh, stop.
So what can I get you for food? I left those menus in front of you a while ago. I'm a good waitress.
Oh boy. Well, everything looks so darn good.
So darn good, but I think I'm going to have the fucking apple pie.
Apple pie. It is our staple here at TGI Fridays.
Now-
I forgot if it was Applebee's for a second too.
Yeah.
Now I'll have a slice of apple pie also, but can you do me a favor?
What's that favor, sugar?
Can you put a slice of yellow American cheese on that?
Wow, that is just the strangest order I ever heard. But it is TGI Fridays. You get it your way.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. And scene. What the fuck? Who cares?
Like,
Who cares?
You
Who
fuck-
cares?
I would like to say
I
you
cared. I liked that scene.
You fuck. Oh, I can't hear myself anymore. Fucking headphones off. Headphones off.
Oh, shit,
You're gonna
he's
raw
running
dog
Renegade.
His
it.
headphones
Yeah.
are off.
Unlock the gates.
Did you just do that whole hype up just to say nothing?
Yeah, I don't. You were
I
gonna say
fucking
something.
the premise. Oh man, we should cut this podcast. We were supposed to not have Sprite.
I don't. You know what?
Remember, I told you we didn't have
Oh,
Sprite.
right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, smooth move X.
It wouldn't really have been
Right.
different.
Yeah,
though,
you're like,
Okay,
David
let's go
Lynch
back
right
into
there.
it.
Oh,
No.
Jesus
Let's finish
Christ.
your dumb bullshit
Jesus
point.
Christ.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, sweeties. We're all out of Sprite.
I'll take a Sierra Mist. And scene.
Oh my! Why? I know that only lasted 10 seconds, but you just took 5 minutes off my life.
Yeah. I just wanted to fit in a plug for Planet Money. I really believe in them as a podcast. I think they're a great organization, NPR.
David Lynch is a visual, visceral storyteller. He's not a subtle filmmaker.
You know what?
Yeah.
I will grant you he's a visual filmmaker. I'll
absolutely.
grant you he's a stylistic filmmaker.
Absolutely.
But you don't get to say that he's a visceral filmmaker if the only visceral feelings I'm having are how much time is left in this fucking movie.
Oh, God.
That doesn't count as being a visceral filmmaker. That counts as being a subpar filmmaker.
In Blue Velvet, how can you not that when Kyle MacLachlan is in the closet watching this horrible
Interesting scene.
thing happen,
Very interesting scene.
The cinematography in that scene, you feel like you're in that closet. You feel I do anyway.
I felt
do.
man, this is how they're writing the character of this bad guy. They're going way too over the top with him eating, like humping this girl and then coming immediately. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I get it. He's got problems. He's fucked up. He's a terrible guy. He's torturing this woman. He's bad to her family.
Are you really giving like a condescending, like, I get it, in the first scene he's being introduced in when this character's still a fucking mystery because we've never seen him?
I get that he's supposed to be some weird fucked up guy.
After you watch the entire first 30 minutes of this movie where you get that it's not a subtle film.
I'm
it's
sorry.
trying to achieve
Hold
something.
the fuck on. Wasn't your whole point about that character that he is the archetypal worst
Well, yeah,
of
I'm not-
humanity?
I'm not saying
Wasn't that
that.
your point?
I'm not
No,
saying that.
That's what I got
I'm not
5
agreeing.
seconds into meeting him, and then they just kept going with it, and it just
'Cause it
came across
has
as
to.
bad dialogue.
Because that's the
that.
movie. Look, you don't watch Captain America's first fight scene and then go, I get it. Don't show me another.
I didn't say don't show me another. I'd say write his dialogue slightly better.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I think you're being a little over top about the waitress too. Like we could have like gone that just from 5 seconds, but you chose to extend it to 5 minutes.
I was being David Lynchy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think I've come to an opinion on David Lynch.
I think we made you hate him more.
Happy about it.
We started this
God.
episode with me at a 3.
Oh, no.
We are clocked in now at like I'm going to call it a 5 or a 6.
Right.
Yeah. It's
up.
not for me.
That's apparent. It's clearly not.
It's infuriating, and all of it just
I got
makes
no
me feel
stakes
like
in this.
art school visual arts bullshit.
But
I'm
you
like,
have
look at how avant-garde I'm being because I saw this stuff.
But admit that he's the best at it. Admit
I haven't
that
seen
he's-
others because I like watching movies with plot.
All right, then he's not for you.
Yeah, not for you.
He's
It's
not
fine.
for me.
Some people don't get the art.
I'll
Some
say
people are
that
fucking muggles. I'm fine with it.
If that's what his goal is, he's very good at it.
Okay.
Yes.
But the goal of this
That's all I
podcast is to
wanted.
get me to like this thing, and
We failed.
I don't. I don't.
I ain't here for your
I'm still
fucking
probably
goals,
going to
okay?
watch Mulholland Drive at some
You
point.
should. Please
Yeah.
do.
And maybe if my opinion changes, we can do another episode.
We should probably just say you'd hate it, so you'll end up liking it.
That, you know what? Smart. Go with that.
Yeah, you'll fucking dislike it. It's a goddamn mess.
Reverse psychology me on
I'm
it.
so curious because it's such a different film from Blue Velvet, but also like takes so much of Lynch in Blue Velvet. Like it really, I'm very curious to hear. Talk to me about it on or off the podcast. I just want to hear what your thoughts are.
We'll do that. All right. Guys, do you have anything to plug? Sean, you first.
Yeah, the third Saturday of every month at QED in Astoria, No Feelings Presents. It's a great variety show. Come check it out. It's awesome.
QED is Queens. What is Queen?
I don't know. I don't know what QED stands.
Google
stands
QED,
for.
everybody.
Yeah, it's in Astoria. Last stop on the NQ train.
Do you have like a Twitter or Instagram or anything you'd like to plug?
No.
All right. Durso.
All right. Hi, Andrew Durso. What's up, everybody?
They know.
All right, settle down. Let me do my plug.
Talk about the people that just. By the way, I'd like
If
to
you're
take this
just
moment to
tuning
say,
in.
I'd like to take this moment to plug me undies. Use promo code Pistol Shrimps.
Durso 316. That's a Stone Cold Steve Austin reference. Durso 316 means I just saved your ass 20% on undies. Andrew Durso, follow me at the Book of Durso. I do comedy, but hey, if you follow Boston comedy at an extremely low level, you'll see my ass around.
All right.
All right. I'd like to plug, as always, the show I run with our producer extraordinaire who has been silently working on tech for this, Grant Goldberg. We've got a monthly show at the Magnet Theater called You Are Not Alone, an uplifting show about depression. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook at Yana Comedy, Y-A-N-A. Also follow just me personally. Hey, it's Aaron Gold. Aaron spelled A-A-R-O-N. Gold spelled like you would spell gold. On Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm there. Also, don't mind if I don't. This very podcast that you're listening to. Check us out on all the things at Don't Mind Podcast. Also, give us a review on iTunes or all the reviewing stuff. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Set up a thing where you can send us money.
You set it up. No, Aaron's not going to set it up. Listener, you set it up.
You set it up.
And
do
give
it for
Aaron
me. Do I have
money.
to do everything?
Yeah,
I sat
I
through a
don't- yeah, I'd
goddamn
like-
Blue Velvet for you.
No,
Yeah,
Aaron, it's called Don't Mind If I Don't. So you're not going to set that up.
No,
There.
I would like to plug my GoFundMe, if you'll allow me to. Give me money, guys. I live with my parents. It's fucking dire. I got to leave Boston before I just waste all this great potential I have as an artist.
Fun fact, this whole podcast was originally conceived, at least in my brain. Durso and I were about to move to LA together about like around a year or so ago.
What's up, babies?
But then we on both ends, we both didn't.
Yeah,
great.
We're not reliable people.
No, but like we've been friends for so long, we disagree on everything. And like my whole idea for a podcast was to be just you and I trading blows, seeing who could convince. Like each episode, we'd take turns convincing
Yeah.
each other to like something.
And I don't think the
And it grew
podcast
into
would.
this.
I don't think the podcast would work because we can tell, like, clearly, like, one of us feels a lot more stakes in this. Where you're like, it was fucking bullshit. I'm like, that's cool.
Oh my God! I wish you all could have heard our conversation of superhero movies before this
Yeah.
happened. But all right, thank you guys all for listening. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.